Everyone, thanks for joining in today. Today we're going to look at these 1930s Filson breeches. Let's take a look. Well, before we jump in here, I'd like to just go over what breeches are. They're shorter pants. They only come down to around mid-calf, and they lace up to tighten around your legs so they don't ride up. Why they did this is back then guys used to wear boots that were similar to these linesman boots that I just finished updating with triconing nails. They'd wear tall boots to keep thorns and brambles and stuff off your pants because it was better to have your leather worn by elements like sticks and bushes and all kinds of stuff than your pants wearing out, because pants were really expensive back then. When these are made, they were probably a $10 pair of pants, but that was still probably 0.2% of your total income for the whole year, because average income in the 30s during the Depression was probably around $2,000–3,000, so it's a pretty substantial amount of your pay when you're trying to make ends meet. But so they came up with this design so that you could tie them around your legs so they wouldn't ride up in your boots, and then you'd have that double layer of your socks, pants, and then your boots on the outside. So first thing to note is that these are in fact from the 1930s. These are manufactured by Filson in the 30s, and somebody on the east coast of America bought them. Either they didn't fit or they didn't use them. They got put in storage, and now they're here in my possession, so a pretty amazing piece of history. Sorry for all you historical guys, but I am actually going to wear these, so hopefully put them to good use and how they were meant to be. But so first thing is the tin cloth on these is about the same weight as the kind of unwaxed tin cloth they have, because these aren't wax pants. I would probably say that they're about the same weight as the modern tin pants. If you didn't have the wax in them, the wax adds about 2 to 4 ounces per yard. We'll do a comparison between these two. But what you got is you got double fronts on these, lace bottom closures. The rivets on the lace closures match the buttons, the snaps on the back side. And then they got the original lacing in them still, and it doesn't look like they've ever been tied because there's no wear on them or anything. You can see it has this double layer in the back. And we'll go over this in detail up close later on. You got the double fronts on the pants. You got single up top. Then you have a serious snap, really heavy duty snap. Unreinforced, just 2 layers on front and back. And it's just a plain brass snap. It's not a Filson snap like the double tin pants have. So it's just unbranded. You got black, what are they called? Black tack buttons. You got a actual pocket watch button here that's lined inside and out with tin cloth. Same as the tin cloth pants. They've always kept that pocket watch pocket in there. Really interesting feature that they decided to keep. I like to keep my lighter and knife in there just so they're in a safer spot. Then you got the same slightly smaller snap buttons for the fly, and then the buttons come through on the back here, and there's kind of like a polyester silk lining in here, I assume so that it sheds debris or anything. Yeah, pretty cool. I'll turn these around for you. Of course, it's got the big side pockets, straight cut pockets, and they come down to about here, so that's a good sized pocket for you. Let's snap this back in up here. Snap this guy back. Turn these around. So on the back, you got the same unbranded black snaps, but then you have CC Filson orange and gold snaps on the pockets, and they're like a really fancy like brass snap. The inside's all brass, and buttons themselves are a brownish gold enamel with gold lettering on them. You can see that the seat of them is also reinforced for wear in a saddle, or for wear while you're in the saddle. And then you can see here that it's still got the original lot number and size tag on it. So these are a 38. I'm usually a 36 in pants, but it's a 38 because it rides up higher on your waist. But let's bring these in for a closer look and see what everything's about. Hey guys, so doing the in-depth review of these, it's only fair that we review them beside the Filson single tin pants I have here. That patina look nice. So we'll start at the top and work our way all the way to the bottom. So starting at the waistband, you pretty much got the exact same size of waistband. They're about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4. The old ones are slightly deeper. The watch pocket is actually reinforced on both ends on the antique pants and then stitched across in a single row. Whereas the new Filson pants, they line the belt loop up with the one side, so it gets a little bit of reinforcing from that. But it's nice that they add in this chain stitching on the end to reinforce them. Moving on to the pockets, you can see that the new tin pants have a more cutout pocket here, whereas the old ones kind of keep on this seam. So the top of this pocket is reinforced and the bottom ties into this seam. Whereas on the antique pants, they're diagonally reinforced with a chain stitch, and then they're also chain stitched on the bottom to double reinforce it, which is pretty nice. You can see on the, this may be a little biased seeing I'm using the single tin pants that always had buttons, but it's got plastic buttons for the suspenders, and they're quite close together. They're kind of awkward in that sense. Whereas the old pants, back in the day when everyone wore suspenders, they set them quite a bit wider. They're probably 4 inches as opposed to 2 for the new ones. So moving on to the middle here. Fold these guys out. You can see there's that solid button, no name or anything on it. Same with the black ones. And you see that the belt loops are chain stitched on the bottoms, but they're quite a bit narrower. I don't know why they did that. Oops, sorry, don't you guys. But you can see that they are quite a bit narrower than the single tin pants we have now. And I presume that's because nowadays a lot more guys wear belts all the time. And that's probably the same reason they went with the plastic buttons, is that they sit flush against the body better than the raised buttons for the steel buttons for the suspenders. So you got a wider, probably 1/2 inch belt loop for the single tins of nowadays, whereas with the old pants you probably got a 3/8 or a 1/4 inch belt loop. Aluminum is what this snap's made of. The snap portion is made of aluminum. And all these are all steel. You can see that the actually did get a bit of rust on these just from sitting in someone's attic. So looking on the inside is something I really appreciate about the old Filson stuff. You got a Filson tag, Seattle. May as well have the best. Well, these are the best in my opinion. Let's see the cotton canvas sailcloth, I imagine it'd be, is much heavier than the new stuff. It's stiffer. It's not obviously not been used, so it might break in to be the same. But yeah, that's a really cool tag. Tuck these guys in. Another thing you notice in these older pants is that they don't have anything finished. They didn't do what's that machine called? A serger. They didn't do serging on the seams back then after they cut them. You can see that they just left them kind of raw and loose. Whereas on the new pants, they went through and serged them. which is good and bad. It's probably better to keep them from fraying, but at the same time, it's another another step in cost. Obviously, this one has the locking YKK zipper, which is nice. And then moving on, you can see, start moving down the pants here. Let's snap these guys back together. Let's do this here. I'm doing this as I go, you guys. I don't want to do a ton of editing. So, editing isn't fun. So what you can see they did on the crotch area of these pants is they have a reinforced football kind of shape here. That gives you a little more mobility. And then they have chain stitching in four parts, yeah. Plus they're reinforcing across there. On the new pants, they don't have that football. It's just the plain seam going down and down each leg. The seam coming up the back. And then we have 3 rows of chain stitching at the bottom of the zipper. Both seem to work. I haven't worn the new pants enough to really tell how they are fit-wise for mobility. That's supposed to provide a little bit more, but we'll see. So moving down the legs, you see that the old pants have the extra reinforcing in there, and you really feel it on the back side here. It goes from being somewhat supple to just really stiff. That's nice. That's more comparable to the double tin pants. And down here at the bottom, it's a close up of the legs on them. You can see the Filson single tin pants come unhemmed, so I just folded them over because I didn't feel like hemming them. And they've stayed pretty good. I never have to unroll them or anything. And 2 rows of stitching on the seams. And on these pants, it's a single row of stitching on the double part. You can see where the double section ends here. Single row. These are all single rows. Down here, getting out of frame here. All single rows. This is all attached. This is just a crease. And when you look inside, undo these guys. These enamel snaps are the same color as the rear pocket snaps. Again, you see that those seams aren't closed off. They did do some serging on the outside of the legs here in the high wear areas where it's really gonna, get wore. And this is just a extra flap of that cloth sewn in there. Single stitching everywhere. And then these are aluminum with an enamel spray on the outside, it looks like. So that would eventually come off. Ooh, bumped you guys with my beak, sorry. So, let's flip these over and look at the back. Concludes the front. Put the tag side out for you guys. Like I said, making this as I go. Okay, so back you see flat pockets on the tin pants, extra wide belt loops. There's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the old new tin pants. On the old ones, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, that goes back to the fact that guys didn't wear belts as much back then. They wore suspenders. If you wore a belt, it was more just to hold your knife or something like that. It was less utilitarian. Well, it was still utilitarian, but it wasn't for holding your pants up per se. It was just something to store stuff on. So there's that tag again. And then here's the pocket on the back, chain stitched on both ends. It's got snaps, obviously, whereas the tin pants don't have snaps. And you see this is a welted pocket Whereas this one is just two, oh, it's 2 rolls with a small welt. But, and here's another really cool tag. Pull this out. There we go. Really cool. Get a good view of them. Yeah, so that's your number 4. Some says union workers issued by the authority of the United Garment Workers of America. Very cool. I never noticed that one before, so that's a nice find. So, again, if there's anything else in these pockets, eh? Didn't know they'd hide stuff on you like that. Here you can see that reinforced section on the back, double stitched. That's an additional layer with the, you can see these snaps too. Actually, it looks like when they were making these pants, they broke the snaps. And I kind of doubt that they sold these as a seconds pair. You see the brass snap construction with the little tabs. Oh, it looks like they cut those holes and then these go on after the fact. I don't know if I could rotate these so they fit, but didn't really care about how they went on. And just all single stitching on these pants. So from perspective of stitching, the tin pants are actually made better because they got double rows everywhere for the most part. But from the perspective of being designed for people, by people, I'd give it hands down to the 1930s pair of pants. So let's call the comparison review for now, and we'll go on to put them on and show you how they look. Well, I spared you the visual of me putting these on, but yeah, so there you go. Those are 1930s Filson breeches. They are an absolute treasure, and I wish I wish they wouldn't have been so cheap and they kept making these, because these are fantastic. I'm gonna throw my linesman boots on here. I just finished restoring, rebuilding, improving, some would say, ruining, others would say. But yeah, let's throw these guys on. We'll give you the full picture. I'll move you down below here. After I get all this stuff. Nobody likes looking at saggy boots when you're doing a video on them. So just stuff them full of cloth. But we'll take a look at these, and we'll move you up and take a look at how these fasten. Hey guys, you're getting the full meal deal today. So what I've found with these jodhpur pants is either tie them too tight and they're always pulling down on your shoulders, or you tie them too loose and they ride up. So what you want to do is get your suspenders set where you want, lift them up about an inch, and then sit down with them. And then what you're going to do is you're going to loosen these. See these last ones, you should go through the back side. So that way you're tying your knot over the top. Just give these a nice tighten. And they won't ride any higher than that. And you see the top of these, it's barely going to be higher than the boot. That's because these boots are a little bit low. That same thing here. Finish your lacing. Go through the back of the hole on the bottom. And get my tighten. Oh, might get a special guest today. Massimo the kitten has come. And of course you would wear longer socks with this. I just got my everyday work socks on. But yeah, so let's move on to our boots here. So you can tell that these were from a time when everything was a bit more of a process. So I was boasting about 45-second lace-up time on these boots. So let's do a real life comparison here. Timers. How to set a stopwatch. Yeah. Do timers. Let's do 1 minute. If I set this for 2 minutes, then I can just subtract at the end. So let's set this for 2 minutes. This is the Garmin Sapphire Solar, by the way. So let's go in 3, 2, 1, and go. 3, 2, 1. So this is the tightest the pants will ever be. Put that in. Of course, I'd have thicker socks on there too, so I can pull in a little less lace. But that's neither here nor there. Scraps through here. Not rushing too much. Still tying these somewhat close. How? The time normally. I feel like it's unfair to. I usually tie them here. I feel like it's unfair to these pants to tie them there. Through, through, through. Rehook it there. Oh. I'm gonna do this should go over here. The only problem is the hooks fall out. Okay. Hook. Oh boy. Helper. He's fighting for the enemy. Hook. Hook. Looks like I missed one. Hook. Hook. This isn't fair. Guys, paying me to paying you to cheat. Okay, we're almost there. Gonna throw this guy back on. So again, these are actually lineman boots, and that means if this top is actually designed for oh no, over 2 minutes. Oh, thanks a lot, Massimo. Oh, something freaky's going on here. Yep. Anyway, that's good enough for today. Here's that. And just tuck these in here. That keeps them out of the bush. Okay. Next one. You sure are a good helper. Whoa! I think these are the Red Wing laces you can take back to the store and get free repairs. should be so lucky to have you with us. If this video runs long, it's the cat's fault. It's one thing that you don't get rewarded with when you're rushing, so everything goes wrong. All right. Let's cheat the system a little bit and assume that I already got my foot in there. Why would you help the enemy? Really, once you get that first eyelet, it holds itself enough that, that you can get it sorted out properly. We are just so lucky to have you as a host today, Maximo. And it's a very nice, well, he's crossed. It's a very nice sensation having calf height boots. Okay, there we go. There we go. 1 minute and 35 seconds. Not the best I've ever done, but it'll do. Let's get you guys back. I'll give you a look here. You did pull up a little bit, but that's okay. Mobility is pretty good. They're certainly spacious enough. Not too hot. Came with a antique screw in the pocket, which is nice. Ooh, brass. Probably not leave that in there. But yeah, there you go. That's the Filson breeches boot lacing demo. So I'll get you guys back to where you should be and do a full walk around and put a couple jackets on. Now that our camera operator has left the building. Oh, there we go again. So that's the Filson breeches video. Not much else to do but just let you have a look. Going for that 1930s style. I'll throw in a couple jackets here. Just let you guys have a look. I'm sure some of you out there remember your grandparents or maybe even parents wearing something like this. This would be a pretty common hunting outfit back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even into the 60s. But kind of faded out of style with the advent of products that don't last. But from the original Mackinac Cruiser for you guys to take a look at. I'll throw my hunting hat on there too. So, my Filson wool hunting gloves. Love these things, they're great. Terrible for riding in. They're quite warm. I usually put them on before my jacket just so they don't bunch up in the sleeves because that's Sleeves are a little tight on these. For me, anyway. Especially over my watch. Yeah, so I'll change out the old logger cap for the Mackinac hunting cap. There you go. That is a hunting outfit from the 1930s. That'd be pretty dang warm. Just add a scarf and throw these flaps down. And that's a good, really good fall season hunting gear. The only other comparable pants I have for these are more of a winter hunting gear pant. The funny thing is they use the exact same snaps. That'd be the Woolrich hunting pants. So you kind of see the side-by-side comparison. They got the same wool snaps. Only difference is they got plastic buttons everywhere instead of the snaps and metal ones. But these are from the same era, so you throw the Woolrich hunting pants out or in with your kit, and you got your fall hunting pants, you got your winter hunting pants, and you're all set to go. Now, of course, there's no camouflage or anything, but we don't need to talk about that right now. So the only other thing I wanted to throw on here is you need a vest. If there's more of a upland hunting setup. You got your flat tin cloth hat. Fits a little tight without the stuff off. Throw on a vest. Sometimes I throw my vest on over my suspenders, and sometimes I throw it on under. These Mackinac wool vests are a little short on me, so I would generally probably wear them with the suspenders over the top. What that lets you do is use your suspenders as another way to secure something, whether it be a clip-on light or a knife or really anything of that sort. There's another pretty good hunting outfit. Be able to shoot some ducks pretty easily. But yeah, well, and then last but not least is actually the matching jacket for the hunting pants. This was also made in the 1930s, so getting into a real vintage hunting gear slash cold weather gear video. But yeah, this is another classic jacket by Woolrich. It's got Bakelite buttons actually, which is pretty interesting. That seems like something that Filson hadn't adopted yet in the 30s. They hadn't adopted Bakelite yet, which is good because the only other option was aluminum, steel, or wood, and they didn't have any wood. So yeah, there's another hunting outfit. It would do you pretty well. Of course, this has the serious button-up collar. Just do up your throat latch here. Then you have an additional throat latch here. It swings around, buttons up to this side. Then you have a pretty warm outfit, even with this hat. It's got the fold-out wool flaps. Fantastic hat for choring. In a stormy corner. Put on a balaclava. Set to go. So there you go. That's a Filson breeches video with a nice little antique hunting clothes segment at the end. So take this off. Doesn't take long to overheat in that jacket. It's pretty warm even down to the mid 30s. Now, wearability wise, that's something I kind of neglected to talk about in my recent videos. Could you wear these every day? Yeah, you probably would, but you'd get stopped a lot, I would assume, and get asked about them, or might get funny looks. But that's not. We don't wear this stuff just to be funny. It's just a. I wouldn't say an obsession, but it's a. Describe it as a yearning for old stuff like this to come back into style, because people like the old stuff. It's built to last. Like, and they understood where cost cutting was a necessity. And they understood where they had to make things work properly, like the double layer over the thighs and in a seat area, but nowhere else, instead of having just double layers everywhere or single layers everywhere. So the closest you can get to these, Filson in the last few years have been their brush pants, probably. Ones that are tan on the upper part and have the waxed cover on the front. I like their upland game pants or something like that. But overall, it's a pretty cool item. I hope they'd make a limited run of these while they're getting silly in the design studio. Because it'd be nice to have something like this again. And I might even send them to them for them to make a pattern out of. That would be nice. So if anyone from Filson sees this video, only you can make change, so talk to your superior person. But anyway, that's the video on the 1930s breeches, and a comparison from almost 100-year-old pants to the new pants only 5 years ago, so about 95 years between the two, or 85 years. Almost 100. But anyway, thanks for watching, you guys, and look out for more videos in the future. Till then, we'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Talk to you guys later. See ya.